A lot of beekeepers are finding that keeping bees in the city can be beneficial because they're not exposed to the same agricultural pesticides. And so a lot of people are finding that their bees do better in the city than in the countryside. I ended up beekeeping at Greenwood Cemetery after I attended an event here, thinking about how this was kind of the perfect space in New York City to keep bees.
This was considered the most varied of the rural cemeteries, which were the rage of the latter part of the 19th century. As Wall Street was developed, the churches along Wall Street sold off their churchyards, and bodies were being shuttled up Broadway with arms hanging out of carts. We do have many famous people here, including Leonard Bernstein, who is right here, the famous maestro, the conductor of the New York Philharmonic, the man who conducted symphonies throughout the world. Boss Tweed, Horace Greeley, Jean-Michel Basquiat. It is really a who's who of New York City and American history here. We have kind of come full cycle. We are now a green oasis in the midst of urban Brooklyn. The idea came about that we could really have bees in here with all of the trees that we have, all of the shrubs that we have, the plants that we have here.
With the mismanagement of pesticides in some other states, bee populations are really in danger, and we're really interested in supporting bee populations here locally so that hopefully that can affect the larger bee population.
This is right in the center of the hive where they're going to be laying all their babies. The city actually legalized beekeeping 6 years ago, and so now it has a legal framework, and it's just kind of boomed in popularity since then.
We're also interested in maintaining local plant ecology, and that includes pollinators of said ecology.
And that's great for them. It means that they're going to have a food supply the full season. At this point in the year, we have 6 hives, so at the peak of summer, it would be nearly 400,000 bees, but right now it could be as low as 200,000. I met a few of the families of people who are buried here, and they were all totally supportive and said that they thought it was a great use of the space. The bees here have been doing great, like really phenomenally well, and they made a ton of honey this year, over 200 pounds, so that shows an example of how cemeteries and cities can be more actively part of the community. It's a win-win for the cemetery that gets the honey, and the bees that get a beautiful place to live in New York.